Gas station.
Gas to show. That's not the entrance. Bah!
Oh, get up! No. Get up! Can you get up? Someone's at the door. Someone's at the door.
Did you die?
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
death.
sure, yeah.
Hobbies are something that I think everyone has to have at some point. I mean, if you don't have a hobby, then I guess maybe you make a living doing what you love. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even then, I mean, you still have to have hobbies outside of that. I mean, for me, I would say probably... I would say video game collecting is something that I got into pretty heavily. You know.
I can show mine.
Ah, yes. And here he comes, carrying a massive load of plastic. Yes. Oh, looky there.
I've been working on this motherfucker for 3 years now.
Yeah.
I haven't been working on it for 3 years straight. I've taken a lot of breaks. I've been on a break for a while, but yeah, I like building Gundams though.
That sword's badass. I mean,
there's 2 of them actually.
Yeah. Just like, whoa. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is cool though. I like that. But
some shoulder armor that I've started building.
Oh yeah, that's that.
So I've kind of started on the arms. I just haven't gotten super far with them yet.
Yeah. Well,
I need to get back to it and finish it up. So this is a perfect grade, and this is my first perfect grade I've ever done. So I mean, quite large.
Very.
So you can see them from here. You know,
yeah.
so
you can see how big he is.
I have to get him close to the camera. And the book of instructions for it is thick.
Yeah, it's a big book. So.
Oh, yeah, and there's a gun.
Le gun. Sheesh. Well, honestly, what's a hobby that you have that you really enjoy, and it's something that you've been either doing a long time or something that you're really passionate about? Like, let us know in the comments below. But for right now,
my other hobby is obviously video gaming. So.
Yeah, that's video gaming's fun. I mean, I think that's a hobby for a lot of people.
It's turned less into video games in general and more into Hoyoverse gaming.
Yeah, he's been on a Honkai Star Rail. Before that, it was Genshin Impact.
I've still played both, so.
Sheesh.
It's like Genshin has been really just grabbing me with all the story and stuff in it. And Star Rail came out, and it's just as good. Well, it's like, honestly, Star Rail's a little easier for now because they've just started it, so it's not as overwhelming to get into.
God. Well,
yeah, I've been playing for about 5 months on those, and I haven't played a whole lot else, except for just a couple things here and there in between.
Yeah, like the horror games.
4. Yeah.
And, The Fierce to Fathom.
Yeah, and then I played through the original Legend of Zelda one evening, finally, which I'd never actually played through before.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm working on Inscription this month for Video Game Book Club.
I know that you did gosh, it was a while ago, but I remember you did Link to the Past in one night.
Yeah, I can do that easily enough now.
Sheesh. With all of the side quests.
Yeah.
And everything. I was like, wow.
So I had to look up a guide for a couple things because some of the stuff in the game is a little obscure, but yeah, I can do it in one long gaming session if I want to. Nice. One game I can do in just a couple hours, though, is Super Metroid. I can beat that game fast.
Yeah, that one.
A lot of times.
That one I
Not
can see.
Not 100%ing it, but.
Well, yeah.
You know, beginning to end.
Well, either way, apparently, internet historian's gonna regale us with some hobbies. Let's check him out. See what he's got.
Brought to you by Waldorf Tanks. Hobbies.
Hobbies.
What are hobbies? Is rock climbing a hobby?
Yes. Rip.
Yes.
All this and more.
That would be funny if that was just the rest of the video.
Yeah, just literally just nothing but
25 minutes of just looking at the rock face he just fell off of to his death.
yeah. A bit of ballsy move. I mean, wow. Oh God.
All right, so do you have any hobbies?
You know, I was tempted to do this one time. I wanted to buy like a little metal trophy thing. Yeah, it's like a little thing that's got a placard on the bottom of it, and etched on the bottom, you know, I would have written, I would bury it in the sand, and when people would unearth it, they would see what was etched on the bottom. Etched on the bottom would be "Get a life."
It's just a
I do,
hobby,
actually.
I know, I'm joking.
Really?
Yeah, swindling larger YouTube channels, that's probably the biggest one. But outside of that, I play Dungeons and Dragons every week.
Nerd.
Okay, well.
No, sorry, carry on. Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on. Carry on.
Do you just have a big red button that you push to mute
Yeah,
when you want to
yeah.
yell slurs? Tell me about your hobbies.
The older you get, the more maintenances around the house become your hobbies. I do quite a lot of gardening.
Old green thumb, eh?
I'm not amazing at keeping the plants alive or fruiting, but
I am good at keeping them.
yeah, once in a while landscaping as well. Like I rent the diggers and then I smooth out the dirt and so otherwise, I watch a lot of YouTube.
So that's interesting because I don't.
Interesting.
I don't know if that makes me a bad YouTuber or a good one, because...
Oh, I've got my hand in the air. I have the answer to this one, Minikuda.
Am I a good YouTuber or not?
Bad! I want to guess bad YouTuber. Carry on, Minikuda.
Was it the awful videos or the lack of uploads?
I'd say both, sir.
I like how he's got all that
Maybe one day
Warhammer
YouTube...
and stuff in the background of them talking.
Yeah.
You can put off uploading to your YouTube channel. Something I find interesting but I'd never do is those people who go like, I know what you call it, like dredging or magnet fishing, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Where you, like, you see these videos on YouTube and TikTok, which are probably like
Yeah, I've seen a
fake
couple
lot
of
the
those
time,
recently.
but I'm sure they still, you find there are just so many guns.
I love that stuff.
Somebody
Watching
pulled
people
a
heading
whole
for
ass
gold.
newer bicycle out of a place in Germany
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
And so it still had a lock on it and stuff, and so they just like left it like next to the river. They pulled
And the
out and
person
posted
came
about
and got it.
and she came and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Like,
It fell in the river. I
and
didn't know
showed
what to
that
do.
she had the key to it and everything. Just like, how did it end up in the damn river?
Old people like looking around with metal detectors and stuff. In fact, I was so into that stuff for a while, this is before I had a YouTube channel, that I bought a metal detector and I went to Historian. I'm like, come on, we're gonna go down to a thing, we're gonna go to a park or something, and we're gonna find a creek and we're just gonna like metal detect around. As soon as I had the metal detector in my hand, I was so embarrassed. I was just so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
The reality set in that you'd have to be the guy going metal detecting.
Yeah, and we went down to like this creek, and on the way there, you'd pass by people and you'd kind of like try to push the metal detector kind of behind their line of sight so they wouldn't see you. And then we got down there and boy, that metal detector was a real piece of shit. I didn't have much money at the time, so I just bought like the cheapest one. And so it only made a beeping noise when there wasn't anything.
That is the worst.
That's the worst thing. What the hell? Also, I want to try and do that metal, like the magnet fishing thing. Just throw it into the bottom of a lake.
Oh, the other thing
what
is
we
the
can
one
find.
guy apparently keeps accidentally pulling up like grenades and shit from however long ago, and like has to call the cops every time to make sure it's not a live grenade accidentally pulled out.
Right?
So it's like I kind of want to, but at the same time I don't want to because I don't want to have to deal with having to call the cops if I pull out like a fucking grenade or something like that.
Yeah, there was I was a long time ago. There was a 4chan story. This kid basically found a grenade. It was, I forget what country it was in, but he posted on 4chan. He's just like, what should I do with it?
Is this where he pulled the pin and then he just didn't post anymore after that?
Well, no. Well, it didn't show. Well, the last post that he posted was he was dangling it over a toilet by the pin, and no one heard from him again after that. And then 4chan, being 4chan, did some research, and they looked for. They basically found the kid's IP address and what city it was mapped into, and they're like, okay, let's look up explosions, this city, this date. And there was an explosion on that date in the bathroom of a house, and it resulted in the death of a young man who was like the age of 16.
I hate to hear he blew himself up. But
ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present him with a Darwin Award.
It's kind of funny up to that point, you know?
It is. It's morbid. It's morbidly funny afterwards, but it takes a while for it to like really sink in.
As we always say,
he did it to himself.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
He did it to himself. I mean, look, he has every sympathy for me his family has every sympathy for me in the fact that their child is dead. But I'm sorry, your child was a moron.
Scenario, because it still works, but it's now incredibly
loud and awful. Yeah.
On the idea that her story's so mad, she leaves you and you have to walk home that day.
We didn't find anything except like one bottle cap, and then like on the way back we're like, oh, there's a beach. All right, fine, I'm gonna try the beach, and couldn't find anything. We're making this really loud fucking noise. People are looking at us, and then I went, all right, I'm not finding anything here. Hold on, and I threw $2 into the sand. To see if the thing would pick it up. It not only didn't pick it up, but then I lost the $2 in the sand.
Shit.
You see, the metal detectors nowadays have like headphone plugins, so that you don't annoy everyone else on the beach.
Yep.
I lost my stupid fucking hobby, and I haven't been metal detecting ever since.
Pigeon racing.
I would
Excuse
quite
me?
like to get into pigeon racing.
Okay.
I met a guy who bred and raced pigeons,
Okay.
and it is fascinating. They'll race these things over, like 400 kilometers,
Oh wow.
and it'll come like down to the wire.
Yeah.
It is really cool the way they breed these particular pigeons, and like, oh well, this one has particular stamina, but this one has a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can keep pigeons basically the same way you keep chickens, but they just sit there and make this noise like,
That's a really good pigeon noise.
oh, thank you. Instead of like, like a chicken does, right? And chickens are awful, and they
Sounds like Juno.
Kind of have to roll my tongue to do it. You know?
Juno, every time you like walk up, every time I walk into my mom's house, all of a sudden Juno comes trotting up to me, and every time she trots up, she's like, as she's trotting up, she's bouncing, and she's like, and then you start petting her, and she starts doing the.
That's cute.
Yeah, I love Juno. She's a great cat. Doesn't like to be held, but loves to be pet.
They stink, but pigeons are just like, hey, I'm purring like a cat,
I also don't like pigeons, but I will give you that they are quieter and less smelly than chickens.
True.
Possibly less tasty too, though. But my only issue
Yes, very
with something
much.
like pigeon racing is because it's, I'm assuming, somewhat of a niche sport. I would feel like I'd want like cool video game stats involved. Like if I was going to be breeding these little suckers, I'd want to have like a UI where I can be like, here's this guy's speed rating out of 10.
They do that.
What the fuck?
They have these little ankle bracelet things, and and then they have like a QR code on them, and then they have like these websites online
For real?
that take all of their stats and track them by GPS and do all this stuff. It's like crazy.
That's like sports stats, but for birds.
And you know what? Here's how you race a pigeon, right?
You throw it really hard.
You go to the starting line, and then you let it go, and then you sit in a chair having a few drinks, and then someone's going to call you on the phone in a few hours and tell you that you won or lost. It's brilliant.
Oh, man. The thought of that is really funny.
Yeah, and it's like, once you win, then you can put this pigeon out to stud like a bull. This one's the fastest. Well, now it's worth like 100 grand. Come on. And you put it in a cage with like 200 female pigeons.
And you play romantic pigeon music.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that this is just going to be the greatest moment of this pigeon's life. It's fucking hilarious.
My problem is pigeons suck, and I think something like a hawk or something seems way cooler to breed.
Hawks are pretty cool. Well, hawks are the natural enemy of
Hawks
pigeons.
are owls.
Yeah. Oh.
So what you're saying is I should breed hawks and you should breed pigeons.
No.
We'll see who wins.
No, keep yours away from mine. It's not fair. Ad time. World of Tanks sponsorship. Sandra, have you heard about this new free-to-play MMO with over 160 million players?
The best thing about World of Tanks is not just that it's free, which it is
That they're continuously pumping out new content. Like an old drainpipe in the Philippines, there's a constant flow of content into the greater ocean. Did you know you can enjoy World of Tanks on a console or on the mobile phone? All you have to do is call up this number and you tell them where you want to move. Yeah, go 5 yards forward. Fire. Did I hit him?
That's a hit.
Now, Sandra, this game is set in the post-apocalypse. All of the animals have gone extinct except for the tank. But then a world war breaks out between them.
Hey, Mohammed, I heard there's only one tank in the whole game.
That's not true, Sandra. In fact, there are lots of different classes of tank. You can be a healing tank, you can be a stealth tank, you can even be a druid tank. This is downtown London before any sort of conflict happened.
It seems like slightly false advertising right there.
Yeah. I just love the fact that the
Sandra.
stealth thing.
In fact, there are lots of different classes of tank. You can be a healing tank. You can be a stealth tank.
Like, I'm gonna stab you.
You can even be a druid tank.
I cast death upon you. Bang.
This is downtown London before any sort of conflict happened. Boy, this really reminds me of a war I can't mention, Sandra. So go to the link below and use the code COMBAT. We'll give you a Cromwell B premium tank. 250,000 credits. 7 days
Already
World
got
Tank
him.
premium account time. Plus 3...
I'm sorry to say this, IH, but I did. Russian Badger had a World of Tanks sponsorship, and me and Jake decided, hey, let's give this a try. And we both liked it, and we played for quite some time. I remember that.
rental premium tanks.
By the way, they sent us some promo stuff, and some of these are like ads that have Arnold Schwarzenegger in them, and Mila Jokovic and Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
I don't know why they sent me this, but it's brilliant. Look at it. Get to the tank.
Also, they collaborate with Girls und Panzer.
Oh, I actually like that one. And same
Yeah.
with Valkyria Chronicles. It's a good game.
And a couple years ago they collaborated with Sabaton and actually gave Sabaton their own tank that had barbed wire all over it. It's freaking awesome. And they also had like a voice pack that every time you blew someone up, it would play like a bit of a song of theirs.
You know, Sandra, I heard they're adding a dating sim to World of Tanks. Oh, Cromwell Summer. My barrel is all filled with ash and debris. Take this pipe cleaner.
I love the fact that they're using Persona 5 music.
And go to town. Sandra, how come you're in that tank right now?
I don't know.
Oh, stop it. You're destroying the whole set.
Oh no!
So click on the link in the description below and use code COMBAT to get a whole bunch of stuff. Look at this stuff. Ad over. I know what the worst hobby is.
What?
Candle making.
Really?
Oh, what's the fucking point? Go down to the store and buy a big candle for $1, or if you want a scented one, they're everywhere. Like, I don't
If you're going to
understand why
Yankee
people make
Candle,
it,
you ain't buying one for $1. That's the fucking Abercrombie of candles. It's fucking overpriced shit-smelling wax sticks right there.
Yeah, instead go to Walmart and just get like a off-brand one that'll you can save a shit ton of money on.
Dude, seriously, like, I hate to destroy any, like, future potential of a sponsorship or anything, but the one time I went to Yankee Candle, like, I was smelling the things that it said were supposed to smell like things, and they all smelled like straight up butthole. Like, I would never buy a candle from them.
That's the word. Damn.
And candles. What's the, there's one fun part about candle making, which is that you can dip your hand in the hot wax, and then you've got like a claw thing that.
Yeah, you know what? I did that. I dipped my whole hand in a wax pot my mom had, and it was weird, but it was cool at the same time because I had a glove made out of wax, bro. Just like
Wax glue. Oh. Seems like it'd be satisfying to peel it off, too.
yeah.
Away.
It is surprising that isn't some kind of therapeutical thing, because that seems like somewhere like, have you been to the wax dipping?
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually does good.
Yes. Yeah, they got those smoke pots and acupuncture and shit. Why don't they have wax dipping?
That's the perfect like massage thing, because you know it kind of hurts like a lot of those kind of treatments. You know, acupuncture, massaging. There's like a pain element to them, but there's also like a satisfaction element to them, where afterwards you feel like and then afterwards your skin would probably feel real like moisturized or something.
Yeah, because you would sweat.
Trains, on the other hand, I could see trains, because trains are like, that's a bit of a novelty. Like an old train's kind of cool to ride on.
There's this park in Melbourne, and it's got like this type of
Hold on.
Novelty. Like an old train's kind of cool to ride on.
Dick my butt.
USS my dick.
Where is it? Where's what? Where's Dick my butt? Did you say dick's in your butt? It's like, no, Dick my butt.
There's this park in Melbourne, and it's got like this tiny train. There's a little conductor dude that sits at the front, and he just gives rides like all day.
That's awesome.
I was enjoying the hell out of that, and I understood it all of a
I
sudden.
used to have one of those at Stills Creek Park.
Oh yeah. I remember we had one at Arrowhead, and then I can't remember what happened. I think maybe the engine broke down, and they just never fixed it.
Well, the tracks are still there, and the shed that houses the train is still there, but I've not heard of it actually running in I don't know how long.
Long time, I'd
Probably
say.
like 20 years or more.
Jesus.
That went into your early videos, washes away. That's why you only upload twice a year now.
Yes, no, I'm just too obsessed with trains now. Oh, is that the DC-45? Running on time, I see.
Would you tie a woman to the tracks? Do you reckon that? Do they ever do that? Is that a real thing someone did?
I would presume so. I would presume that's a pretty good way of taking someone out.
That has to be one of the most horrible way. Like, you're going to be mincemeat 100% chance. There's no way you're getting out of that.
Throw that one up, Jamie. Does anyone ever get tied to the railroad track? When did they start using the guillotine? That was around the 1700s, wasn't it? And that's like the same time that the train was around. Why didn't they just use the train?
Well, a bit messy to clean up, I think. You can't just have a train running around covered in gore all the time.
Yeah, true.
You know what's crazy about
Why not? Why not? Damn it. I want that.
the guillotine?
The gore train.
The last, government-issued guillotining in France happened when the first Star Wars movie was in theaters.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like the 1970s or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like way later than you'd think.
Yeah. Do you reckon it hurts?
The Gore
I actually
Train's
think about
the alternate, much better title of that one freaking movie that, shit.
The Midnight Meat Train?
Yeah. Like, what's his fucking name?
Vinnie Jones?
No, it was, the Hellraiser writer. He was on that movie.
Huh.
I'm spacing on Hellraiser writer's name right now, even though he's an awesome writer. Ty Barker.
Oh, Clyde. Okay. Yeah. It did have Vinnie Jones in it. I knew I remembered him being in it.
Yeah, I didn't know who was in it.
Also,
I was trying to think of Clyde Barker's name.
Also, holy shit, Bradley Cooper. I forgot that he was in that. That was before he was big.
I've never watched that just because I thought the name of it was so stupid. But
The Midnight.
I actually need to watch it at some point, though.
It's actually really good, according to some reviewers out there.
The Midnight Meat Train just does not sound like a horror movie title. It sounds like
Oh shit, Ted Raimi's in it.
That sounds like an
I gotta see it now.
sounds like an adult film title. Know what I mean? The Midnight Meat Train.
Sheesh. Let's check that out. Anyway, back on screen.
that more often than I should. Because they say that your brain activity still kicks around for a good, like, 30 seconds afterwards.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Do you reckon you're just like, fuck. Wow, this sucks.
Well, you'd land in the basket and then you'd be all nauseous, right? Because you'd be like, you'd spin and then land upside down. And you'd be like, my
I've
face
thought about
is
this
right
kind
up
of thing
against
before.
I have
myself.
too. It's like, I wonder what the last moments of your life would be like.
I feel like it would be the most intense pain you've ever felt coming from like your neck. And then obviously you would feel like everything else on your body is numb because it's no longer connected to your brain. I don't know if you would have any kind of phantom pain in that moment or not, but I've thought about shit like that. Either way, it sounds horrifying.
I'd rather just get either stun gunned or just like a bullet to the head.
So I would much rather probably just be like put to sleep with something before I'm killed, however that may be, you know.
Yeah, probably.
It's wicked. This is terrible.
Yeah, this
I'd rather
just
not
sucks.
be conscious when
You
I
know,
die.
then you might be a bit bored for a little while, like just waiting to die.
I hate thinking about this. This is like, this is stressing me out like it's something I have to do later.
Right?
What would be the worst part about getting guillotined? Because I suppose the blade is quick, at least. There would be a moment just before you put your head in it that you get really close to the guillotine and you kind of have this thought that's like, oh, this is really dangerous.
I love the fact they use the water phone effect.
Yeah. Like, this is really dangerous. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. You know, I would ask them, if I could make one request of them, be like, yes, I would like to request that the blade of the guillotine be extremely sharp, because I don't want it to like fall down and not kill me immediately.
Silly American, give him the duelist blade.
And then all of a sudden just ah! Let us try that again. Ah! It's like, well, I'll be damned. This blade is a very, very dull one. Ah! Holy cow, he broke the blade. It's like, okay, send in the executioner. All of a sudden, dude with the axe comes around and he's like, I've been waiting for this for so long. Well, pow! Just takes your head off. And it's just like you're laying in the basket and you're just like, you know, I can think of worse ways to go. Honestly, I wish they would have at least sharpened the blade. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you get too close to like a bandsaw or
Yeah, you get
know,
like a
something
tingle in your
shot glass.
hand.
Yeah. Oh, I've got it. Right. So what you do is underneath you want to have a bit of a lever, like a seesaw, and then you have the basket there. So the moment it cuts through, your head falls off, it launches your head straight into the air, and then it's kind of like, whoa, you get to see the whole crowd.
That'd be the worst if it like only cut through halfway.
Yeah, or it gets stuck, and then they
You have
try
to like pull it up again.
and then that's pulling your neck as well.
And they just kind of like, they just stand above it and just kick the back of your head.
Oh, Jesus.
We're gonna need a couple fellas just to jump up and down on the blade, please. Oh, here's the problem. You tied a bloody knot in the rope. It's caught against the, it's like caught against the wooden beam.
This is very morbid.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about other ways to do the guillotine. Because you could have them at the very top.
You drop them onto the...
That would be more entertaining before
That
you
would
died.
be like, very well, everyone. We will be putting it to a vote. Do you want the blade to be dropped, or do you want the person to be dropped? And then all of a sudden, it's just like, drop that body, and it's like, very well, drops the body, and then all of a
Drop
sudden,
the beach.
hey, it worked.
Or you have an enormous spring underneath the blade, so everyone has to kind of pull, and then it goes off.
Holy shit!
This feels like if like as seen on TV, infomercials invented a guillotine. Like, aren't you sick and tired of that normal guillotine? and they invent this weird double-sided guillotine that can like
It
cut.
slices, it dices, and
It
only
makes
3 payments.
it makes Julian fries.
$39.95 plus postage and the old
That can make a
fashioned
crazy ass
transit
saw
way, but then they
trap,
just
you
kind of
know?
fall over.
Yeah.
and then
Like the
they're-
spring-loaded like blades thing. It's
Oh,
like, it's
yeah.
like a gear starts turning and pulling a rope that's like pulling these spring-loaded like platforms like back against the wall with like all these guillotine blades attached to them.
Oh my gosh.
Like if you don't leave the room before it goes
Dude.
off, then the rope breaks and just bam, just
Dude,
slices
I just
you.
thought of like how they could make that into a trap. Basically, you have someone who's laying down on a table. Their arms are tied down to the table, and they have there's a space between the table under each arm and each leg, and basically it's like you have an X amount of time to do something, or else every minute that passes by, this person loses a limb, and it's just like, and all you hear like the cranking of the blade. You just hear, and then after every minute you hear bong, and then the blade will shoot up through the table and literally like chop their arm off, and they'll just be like ah, ah! and then all of a sudden it's just like, you better hurry, or else you're gonna be or else you're gonna have to carry him out of here.
If it was somebody else in one of those situations, like with the saw things, like depending on who it was, like I'm probably gonna be one of those people that's just like, man, I got lucky. It's like to not. This is like the fact that he gave me like the choice between somebody else dying or like me maiming myself.
Well,
It's like, sorry, I got lucky
well,
in this situation.
no, because I was going to say, if the challenge is you must literally cut a pound of flesh off of yourself,
Yeah, then that ain't happening probably.
I'd just be like, I knew I was cultivating this for a reason. Just like start shaving the fat off. I'd be permanently scarred,
They
but
kind of did that in that one. Like the dude like took pieces of his stomach off, but then
and then
just
she
hacked
cut her whole fucking arm off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
I pull on the rope, and then they just immediately go and turn to the camera, like holding their wrist. What about one that's like a fan, and it's like,
Oh yeah, so you just keep sliding people through it.
Holy shit!
and have them turned into little slices.
Put him on a conveyor belt.
Quite nice. Yeah, we're essentially describing a deli slicer. but
Yeah, a meat slicer.
Electric chair, that sounds pretty bad, but I feel like it'd be pretty quick.
Okay.
No.
So how do we improve the electric chair? I'm thinking what you do is, instead of one big shock, just thousands of little shocks.
They just randomly occur all over your body.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly licking a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
What if they just take
No.
the battery to your tongue and then walk away and go,
It does 1 damage at a time, but eventually, well, that's just death by 1,000 cuts, but it's death by 1,000 small shocks.
There's one. Okay. Hold on.
The Joker.
This is yeah.
2,391 counts of murder and many other crimes that seem minor next to 2,391 counts of murder. You have been sentenced to death. Have you any last words?
I know Jesus has forgiven me.
Is that a joke?
No!
Here we go.
That's all right.
He's going until he's dead. It would be monstrous to stop now. I didn't know. I didn't know. Wait.
Yeah, he took the sponge. It's just like that scene from The Green Mile. You remember? You ever seen The Green Mile?
Seen it.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. That's probably for me in terms of because it was always just like we need to it was Batman finally beating down the Joker yet again, and then he was just like, you know what? I've got an idea. Instead of taking you to Arkham, I'll leave you at the mercy of the justice system. And all of a sudden you just hear, guilty! Didn't even have to debate. And then Batman's behind Joker, he's like, sorry, it's out of my hands. Oh, God.
I wonder if you did just cover someone in wet 9-volt batteries, like whether you would die from starvation or like electrical current.
I think eventually, like, your muscles must just give out.
But it's like the muscles; it'll be your heart or brain that like.
Yeah,
gives
Yeah,
your
Hart would
give out.
probably
that
go
would be it,
first.
Yeah. You'd just get overexerted.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. What if electrical chair? But there's a phone to play Family Guy on it. While
Oh
you
my God. That's the common thing. You just keep seeing those all over the place. I saw 3 when I was looking at shorts. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, really?
What if like... Oh, shit. I just lost it.
Did the Family Guy phone flashbanged you?
Throwing flashbang.
That just wiped your brain like a Men in Black clicker.
Yeah.
Imagine a Men in Black if instead you didn't see anything and they held up Family Guy Funny Moments compilation.
One of those
oysters.
things that I got...
You ever had oysters before?
It was either oysters or clams. I can't remember which.
I had oysters before. Not a fan.
Yeah, it wasn't good, whichever one it was.
Interested in for
It's
quite
too
a while
rubbery.
was oysters.
Yeah.
Oysters.
Yeah.
Oysters.
Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting.
You went on oysters.com.
I don't know what that is. Won't be good though. And I went to this oyster tour in Tasmania, and they were just telling me about all these like really interesting things about oysters. So yeah, you have these piles and piles of shells. We would burn them and turn them into lime. Like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so anyway, most oysters are about 7 years old, and here's how they mate.
Let me get some of that oyster. See. Yeah. I think it's a clam, not an oyster, but there's a picture where like they put a bunch of salt in front of a clam and its big gross tongue like flops out and licks up all the salt.
Ugh.
Have you seen that?
No.
Let me find that. It is interesting.
Pull that one up, Jamie. It's doing it.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, they're pretty awful.
I just want to fucking slam my fist down on it when its tongue's out.
Do you reckon it pulls its tongue out and goes, ooh, salty?
No, I guarantee you it's just like, oh, it's just like the ocean, only no water.
Yeah, well, that's because if it hated salt, but then like it also has to use its tongue as its like primary means of transportation, so it has to like put its tongue in the salt to get away from the salt. It's kind of like a saw trap almost.
Yes. Why hasn't anyone done saw but for animals? Yeah.
No.
Like how we were just talking about saw traps.
Yes. Now they're bringing it up. Hey, internet historian, come on, man. Hey, we can have convos. We're on the same wavelength.
You're always poking your tongue out at people. Well, now there's salt around and stuff.
What if there was a Saw movie where he just did it to like innocuous animals? No one gave a shit about like clams and like deep sea anglerfish.
You're always just swimming around in the dark. Now you're sellotaped to a 800-watt light bulb. He's having like a mussel and clam stew, but he throws them all in a pot and then turns the water on to boil. And he goes, here I have set up a trap. You must escape before the water boils. But he always intended just to have a stew.
Yeah, exactly. He just watches as they boil because they're fucking like clams. They can't do anything.
Now comes the bomb.
Do 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 do.
Butter.
If you do not escape in 10 seconds, you'll be enveloped in fresh cream which will permeate into your lungs and tongue, rendering you unable to move. What's an animal you would like to see in a saw trap?
Sometimes I see those birds that are like, they're usually water birds, and they've got these very long, slender legs. I just think, God, that would be satisfying just to walk over and be like, snap that.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't actually want to hurt it, but
Like a breadstick.
yeah, it's kind of, I'm not going to, but it's kind of like, you know, when your mate
Intrusive
is
thoughts.
showing off a brand new pencil,
Oh yeah, and you just what?
and he's like, I love this thing. I've sharpened it perfectly. And you just want to reach over and snap it. In my head, all this stuff
dick
is
move.
absolutely hilarious. In real life, one time there was this mouse that got caught in a mouse trap at our place, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish him, so I had to let him go free in the park.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do that either. I feel like my problem with saw is
Every mouse that we've had here, we basically have caught and released back.
Except for the one that we didn't notice that kind of croaked before we noticed it.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I just remember, when we were taking them out, I let the one
sitting
out.
over here like, he didn't make any noise. He didn't tell us he was over there.
No, and I felt bad about it.
Yeah.
But then, I opened up the trap and let the one go, like, scurrying out. And then I reached in there with, like, a little paper towel thing that I had. And I just, like, grabbed it by its tail and just yeeted it over the...
I was sitting in the car with the headlights on, and I see him, and I just see this mouse go, It was fucking funny looking. I'm sorry.
He was already dead.
Yeah. The little mouse corpse just doing
like-
fucking cartwheels through there. Just,
So like I chucked a live mouse down a stairwell.
I know, but it was just stupid looking.
Well, I was going to say, for me, like, just, like, chucking live... In terms of a live animal getting chucked that deserved it...
I don't know if the raccoon deserved it, though.
He did. This raccoon was attacking this dude's dog.
I thought you were doing the one that the monkeys.
Oh, hell no, dude. That was mean to the monkey. That was mean to them monkeys. But anyway, this dog is getting attacked by this raccoon, and homie just, like, sees this happening. He's like, oh, no, you little shit. Get off my dog. Yeah! Now, this angle's pretty good. This angle is pretty good. This next angle is fucking gold. I swear to God. Because he just, like...
It's funny. Cause
right here. Watch it. Yeah.
You see his fucking eyes reflecting as he gets yeeted into the dark.
just yank.
Holy shit!
Insert Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
And the raccoon was okay. It ran off, but yeah, homie, it was attacking homie's dog. He had every right to defend his dog.
Fair enough.
God. Anyway. Anyway.
Or just any horror movie really, which is another hobby a lot of people seem to love that I just don't understand. People never deserve it.
No.
Which I guess is kind of the point, but when it's like, oh, just some teacher who didn't like appreciate their family enough or something, it's like this person doesn't deserve to have their like face cut in half.
Yeah, no. That's a sort of lesson that you would learn over the course of a lifetime, to like appreciate your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that one's gonna work itself out.
You've just given them PTSD. You haven't solved anything.
One time, I Dungeoned and Dragoned.
Okay, interesting. When was this?
I was invited to do some D&D stuff back in my university days. I showed up on a Saturday. It was about 1 in the afternoon, and we were there until about 7 o'clock.
Did you see who it
and
was?
we had to call it quits.
Wait.
We were there until about 7 o'clock. And we had to call it quits at 7 o'clock because the host's mum was coming home then. In that 6 hours, I think we managed to play for about an hour. and then the other 3 hours were spent setting up the game, and the other 2 arguing about the rules.
It looks like they're just vigorously jerking off invisible penises. I'm sorry.
Hours were spent setting up the game, and the other 2 arguing about the rule.
Just like, look how fast I can jerk off with my hand. No, look at me.
So you have an authentic experience, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that anyone gets to do more than about 15 minutes of gaming per 4-hour session. You got any D&D story? You ever kill a man?
All the setup and stuff only is the first session, because you have to create your characters and everything.
Yeah, in which, if you've done preliminary work like I've done, I've created multiple characters for, like, multiple scenarios. Yeah, it's like a futuristic style, or like a classic D&D style, or, you know, just like a... Or if I have to create one on the fly, I'm usually pretty good at that, too.
One time I went to a card store to buy some cards, and they were having like their weekly D&D night where like a whole bunch of different tables were all set up for people to play D&D.
Yeah.
And there's a guy sitting at one of them who had head to toe full Deadpool merch on.
Oh.
He had a Deadpool hat, he had a Deadpool jumper on, the jeans, I believe, probably just regular jeans, but they were black to fit with the color scheme. Yeah. And then he had red and black sneakers, which I don't know if they were Deadpool branded, but they were definitely, you know, continuing the color scheme.
You know what? Maybe it was like a bad coincidence. Like, maybe these are all the things he doesn't usually wear. Because, okay, this happened to me once, right? Somehow, when I was like 11, I think my mum had bought me a camouflage shirt and camouflage shorts. And so, like, my dad, right, he kind of wanted me to be a bit of a snob for some reason when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
So he used to take me to the driving range all the time. And I remember looking in my closet and going, oh, I don't have anything except this camouflage shirt and these camouflage shorts that I never wear, and so I just had to wear both of those. And so I looked like I was going to the military at age 11, and I remember distinctly, like, we were waiting to go in, and there's these 2 absolute strangers who walk by in the other direction, and they salute, and I...
Are you serious?
Just died. That's probably what happened to this dude.
Tasmania.
I think I would like to retire to a small town in Tasmania called Launceston.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is I was there and I was walking around downtown and, oh, neat, looks like a Warhammer store. So I went in and I bought a book, which I never read, and then I went back out and then I walked 2 stores down and then all of a sudden another comic book store.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, that's brilliant. There's like 2 of these in a very small town. And then I walked around the corner of the block and there was like one of those war games stores right there. It was all within like 100-yard radius. It was brilliant.
I'd love to find like a real nerdy town that you just like, yeah, we're really nerdy, so what?
Yeah, we don't reproduce.
We just make a commune in the highlands of Tasmania, and we're just shipping Warhammer and D&D.
Absolutely. And then we set up like a cross between an internet cafe and a deli, but we only let our friends in, and then everybody gets free deli meats, right? And then eventually one of us becomes the mayor. I actually Googled once the current mayor of Launceston, and I thought, you know what, I could at least take this guy in a fight.
Yeah,
Easy.
Which is how they settle the mayorship in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's right. You stand in the middle of the triangle that intersects the 3 war game stores.
Yeah, and you have the ultimate war game.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I've never fucking understood Yu-Gi-Oh! Because half my friends play it, but like you look at one of those cards and it is just a novel, man. It is like...
I have only ever seen the show, and that thing does not seem to have any rules at all.
Yeah, those motherfuckers just making shit up on the fly.
You can't use 2 beast cards on one deck without sacrificing at least a spirit card. And you, what? Who? When did that happen? And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Immediately does it anyway without sacrificing the spirit card. And then he looks like he's, oh no, Yugi, you've lost all your life points. But then he's like, hold on a minute, I've got the heart of the cards. What does that mean? And then all of a sudden his poor life points come back.
He just pulls out a gun.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
I did. I was obsessed with it as a kid. But you're right, it has such little bearing on the actual game. I like to imagine the card designers just saw every episode come out and they're just like, fuck, how are we gonna keep up with, like, because obviously kids are gonna buy the decks being like, I want to do Yuki's cool move.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, please.
I remember as a kid looking up the cards.
Then you look up literally like which cards are now illegal in tournament play because of the bullshit. such as
it's
Pot
like
of Greed.
Most of them.
Yeah, it's like Pot of Greed. I was like, Yugi played that so much, and it was so that he could get Exodia. That was it. It was just like, I play Pot of Greed, Pot of Greed, Pot of Greed, and it's just like, Exodia, obliterate. It's like, fuck.
And the descriptions are completely different to the show. I'm being really disappointed. I also think some kid stole my cards. I'm not sure.
I know who it was. It was that goddamn Kaiba.
That goddamn Kaiba came to rural New Zealand and stole my deck that was probably worth $20 maximum.
I probably told the story before. I brought my Pokemon cards to school one day. Had my book of holographics and stuff in it. My friends, we had a thing where we brought them to school, we talked about them, and we showed them off to each other. I come back, I look, and my book bag is wide open, and someone has stolen my fucking Pokemon cards. And I just remember just panicking and just like, who took them? Who took them? Did anyone see who took them? Who took them? And then I remember getting home and having to tell my mom. And my mom was just like, I'm not buying you anymore. No, I'm not buying you anymore. If you want to buy them, you can buy them yourself. And I was like, and I did. And it sucked because, I used to get them as like little gifts or something like that for like Christmas and my birthday and stuff like that. But no more. And I just remember I went for like 4 or 5 years. I was in high school at this point. And I'm hanging out with a kid. His name was, don't want to, his name was, let's say Terry. Okay, but anyway, I'm over at Terry's house, and we're talking about Pokemon cards. I was like, yeah, dude, I just remember a long time ago, like, during, 5th grade, someone ransacked my backpack and stole all my Pokemon cards. And I remember Terry was just, like, sitting there. He was just like, oh, yeah, dude. That was fucking me. And I'm like, what? That was me, dude. I took your fucking Pokemon cards, dude. I sold them later that day. I was like, you stole my fucking Pokemon card. He's like, yeah, bro. I'm sorry about that. But hey, it is what it. I'm like, no, dude. Fuck you. And I was like, fuck you, dude. You stole my shit and. You just expect me to just be okay with it? You expect me to just be like, oh, water under the bridge? No, dude. That was like $200-300 worth of cards that you took from me, and it was like, dude, fuck you. And I got up and left his house, and I never talked to him again. And then people were just like, oh, dude, y'all used to be so tight. And I was like, what happened? He's like, fucker stole my Pokemon cards. Never told me about it, and just expects me to just not. It'd be like me going over to his house and stealing one of his guitars, and just being like, "Oh, dude, it's just one of those things. It happened. Yeah, but water under the bridge, right? No, fuck you.
Somebody stole this thing from me.
Exactly. If someone stole that thing,
was hundreds of dollars.
Yes, that'd be fucked up. That'd be supremely fucked up. Anyway, sorry.
Held your grandfather to ransom, and he wanted your Dark Wizard card. I think Yugi has I don't know if his name is Yu-Gi-Oh or Yugi.
His name's Yugi, and then when he turns into the version of him that's trapped in the Millennium Puzzle, he's Yami Yugi.
I forgot about that, the Millennium Puzzle.
Don't forget the Millennium Eye, Yug.
And that's right, he can see under Yugi's clothes with it or something.
His facial expression would just change when he goes between the two. He had the most bizarre hair of any anime
it's up there.
I've ever seen.
It is up there.
It's like, what is even happening? It's like 3 different colors, and it's almost a pyramid.
At least most anime characters here, it's stupid, but you're like, okay, theoretically with enough hair gel, you could make that happen, like clouds here or something.
Yeah.
There's just a blonde guy with spiky, shaped hair, and then Joey's just from Brooklyn for some reason. It's
Wait, wasn't this in a video?
Yeah, I also did a video of this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which you can click on the top right.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't click on that. All right, listen up, mini cooters. I've got your granddad. I'm gonna expose him to my gamma radiation card.
I'm gonna play a mountain and tap it and cast lightning bolt on your
Are you
force.
turning Egyptian right now?
You've already done this joke before. Don't make me do blackface.
You're just in denial, Nick.
Man, you need to start finding someone else to do these.
All right, thanks for being on. I'll catch you later.
Oh, we'll see you at, well, we've got D&D tonight, and then you said you're coming around for Magic tomorrow.
My mum's coming home soon. I gotta go.
We've got Yu-Gi-Oh! The day after that, and then we're going to be watching Game of Thrones the day after that. Warhammer, I think.
Sorry for your loss on that, dude.
Yeah, I would literally rather like get every single one of my toes broken by a ball peen hammer than watch Game of Thrones again.
I've got some terrible news.
Oh.
This is Historian.
Oh.
Internet Historian's wife.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He has died. He won't be able to make any of those appointments. Don't contact this number again. Goodbye.
At your door looking at you, though.
Goodbye. Please respect our privacy.
We've been talking face to face.
This time of bereavement.
I'm looking at you.
Do not forget World of Tanks.
Tank of Worlds.
What if we did a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that used basically all of Game of Thrones up to season 6 as its basis for its world setup?
And then
like completely ignoring 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd be down for that.
And then we just went from there and like fixed it ourselves by like role playing it in Dungeons and Dragons.
I'd be down for that.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I was gonna say if we broadcasted that, we'd probably like HBO would probably contact us and just be like, no, and it's just like, well, technically we aren't making any money off of this. We're just streaming it. So
they're gonna be like, yeah, but you're thinking about making money off of it.
No, not. No, we're not. How can you assume that? Like that.
They're like, because we're HBO and fuck you. That's why.
Yeah, and I want the 4 or 5 years of my life back that I spent watching your fucking show that you flushed down the toilet because you obviously didn't give a shit about the fans. So fuck you too. It's just like you're banned from watching HBO Max. Another subpar, streaming app that I'm banned from. Oh, woe is me. The world is such an awful dark place. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So those are some good hobbies, and like I said, if there's any hobbies out there that y'all have that. You want to tell us about, feel free. Try and keep it PG, though. That's all I ask. So, until next time, everybody. Signing off, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. See y'all later. Take care.